weekly webinar session. We're going to get started here in just one moment. But before we do, I just want to check that both audio and video connections are good before we proceed. Thank you. And you can confirm that audio and video are okay in the chat box just by indicating if you can hear me and see my screen, which should say VooPlayer Q&A on it. All right, we're getting some confirmations from Alex and Abi. Hello to everyone once more. Brief introduction. My name is Peter. I am VooPlayer's product manager, and as mentioned earlier, this is the weekly Q&A webinar call where we aim to answer any questions that you as users may have, also to provide any training on advanced features or use cases of video in your business, also to showcase new stuff that we've been working on, as well as to just generally discuss any ideas, topics, recommendations, constructive criticism of how we can keep improving VooPlayer and contribute more value through it to your business cases. So with that in mind, the format of the webinar is pretty straightforward. So you have this little chat box in your screen, so at any time that you have a question or if you came prepared with any questions, you're more than welcome to just drop them in that chat box at this time, and we'll just start answering them in the order that they come in. This is, as you probably noticed, a weekly webinar. And in case that you are not able to attend one of these calls but are curious as to what's going on, weekly replays are available both on our YouTube channel, a link to which I just posted in the chat box, as well as on our Facebook group, a link to which is in the chat box as well. If you haven't subscribed to that channel or joined that group yet, I do encourage you to do so, as they'll definitely help you both get involved with the community and stay on top of things with regards to everything that's being newly released and fixed, and announcements, and so on and so on and so on. One more thing that I want to bring up is that if at any time you have a suggestion for us, but don't necessarily want to wait until the webinar to bring it up, inside of the application over here on your bottom left, there's an icon, documentation and support. There you can click on submit and vote on ideas, which will take you to our product board, where you can see all of the stuff that we're working on. Oops, I refreshed the page without needing to do so. There you can see all of the stuff that we're currently working on. You can also see the stuff that's being considered. These are all ideas, suggestions, and feature integration requests by your fellow VooPlayer users. And we make those available for other people to vote on, which helps us gain momentum and validate the priority of those items so that we know how we can fit them on the roadmap. Also, you can see what's been recently launched. And as mentioned, you can click over here on the top right corner where it says submit a new idea. And there you can describe your idea and indicate how important it is to you. And that way we can best organize it and fit it in within our roadmap as mentioned. Additionally, we're also available via live chat throughout in our application, as well as we're also available at any time. You can contact us at support@vooplayer.com, where you can click over here on contact support, and you can file the detailed bug report, and so on and so on. All right, cool. Before we get to your questions, I do have one quick announcement. So somebody requested this over support, and we've added it since it was fairly simple to add it. I think I have a recorded video of it working, and this is already on production. So for anybody who's using the MailChimp integration with VooPlayer and a lot of people actually are for some reason. I'm not sure what the trend there is, but as you know, you're able to add various integrations to your WooPlayer account for CRM, email autoresponders, and so on by visiting your profile and then going to integrations and API. And there you can see a list of all of the available integrations over here on the right hand side with which you can connect. And one of them is MailChimp, and that's the most popular one that WooPlayer users are using. Up until now, you were able to connect the MailChimp integration to opt-ins, funnels, viewing notifications, and so on and so on. But we still weren't supporting the capacity for viewers to be tagged based on the events inside of WooPlayer, and that tag would be added inside of MailChimp. So I just want to show you how and that feature has been available for other integrations, but we've just added support for MailChimp as well. So here I'll come over here to add a new integration, and I'll select my MailChimp integration, which lists on MailChimp I want to target, and I'll add a tag influencer, and that's going to be triggered at second 2. So I'll just pause here just for a second. So you would want to do this, for example, if you're have a long video that people are watching and you're curious who's watched a particular amount of it, and you want to make a segment out of them in your autoresponder. So this way you can create custom tags which can then be triggered in your integration. So that's all you need to do now inside of WooPlayer. And here's the video. And we'll just also see here's a contact inside of MailChimp that currently, as we can see, has no tags on it. So we're going to attempt to add that influencer tag to it by simply watching a WooPlayer video. So we'll just identify the contact to WooPlayer. The contact still has no tags. And now that we play the video, and we can just play it for a couple of seconds, I think it already fired. And then we come back to the MailChimp integration. We can see that the viewer has been tagged with the influencer tag. So that's the simple gist of it. A lot of people are familiar with this already and how it works. I just wanted to let MailChimp users know that integration is now supported with MailChimp as well. Let me just, in case that anybody who's on the webinar is not familiar with these tags and how they're working, let me just share a custom article on tag a contact in CRM with viewing data article from our knowledge base, which is also a great resource, which I haven't mentioned. So if you're ever curious about something WooPlayer related, one of the good places to search for that would be our knowledge base, which is available at docs.woolplayer.com. All right, so that was just a quick announcement I wanted to get through before getting to your questions. So let me see who's first. Alex. Alex was asking, is anyone here willing to share their WooPlayer use cases, links to your website and stuff? I'd like to see WooPlayer in action for others. I think we had this discussion already and agreed that it would be best to have that sort of be a continued rolling pinned article on the Facebook group. But if anybody wants to shout out with how they're using WooPlayer, we're more than welcome to review it. Randall is saying, I'm looking at your YouTube channel. I don't see a list of topics discussed during each Q&A session. Is there a summary of the discussion posted anywhere for past videos? Is there a summary of the discussion posted anywhere for past videos? Currently, I believe you can do this. I think this is the closest that you'll get sort of to descriptions of the content. So if you come to the Facebook group, come on Facebook. So here's our Facebook group. Loading. So here's a previous webinar. I think this is October 18th, I believe. There we go. So if you play it from the Facebook group rather than the YouTube channel, in the Facebook group we have links to the sort of chapter markers within the webinar call on the topics that were discussed. We don't necessarily go into the length, which maybe we should of, including those topics in the description of the YouTube videos. But if you just and we can definitely update that. I think that's a viable recommendation for improving that moving forward. We can add the descriptions inside of the webinar replays. But currently, if you want to review something that's already even happened, you need to access that replay webinar via the Facebook group, and then you can see the chapters that are set up on those videos. Nabi is saying, I bought a Wool Player about 12 months ago and have only set up one video so far. Will the controls such as redirects or email capture work only on a website or also on Facebook or LinkedIn? So Wool Player is not there. There's no capacity for Wool Player to work on Facebook itself. No video player can do that aside from Facebook's video player. So if you want to have redirects and so on, the expectation there is that you're going to get a link from Wool Player. You're going to share that link on Wool Player, or sorry, you're going to share that link on Facebook, or either you're going to get an embed code from Wool Player, you're going to place that embed code on your site, and then you're going to share your site on Facebook. Either way, a viewer needs to click on a link or a preview of that link, such as an email thumbnail image, such as a thumbnail image or a preview GIF. A lot of the stuff with which Wool Player helps you out to kind of automatically generate those for your videos. But then you can click on them and they will take you either to the Wool Player page, which was this page that we were seeing in this video. So let me just scroll back to it. This is a why is it not playing? Well, let's open one live, doesn't matter. So with Facebook, for example, and we can go through this in a little bit more detail now that I'm in the application. So let's take this. I know I have a couple of videos with which I'm doing some testing right now, but let's take this test converter restart a video. So if we go into the settings for it, one of the settings which are available to you from advanced options is the social and SEO metadata settings, which you can configure for every video. So here you can specify which content, which headline, which description, which keywords, which image you want to use on social sites, so you can see how it's going to look like when you share that video. But there is no capacity for that video to be played on Facebook, so someone's going to need to click on this and they will either land on the watch page if you shared the watch page a link, or on your site where Wool Player is embedded. So I think that answers the question of capacity for redirects and so on Facebook. Randall, nope, I also asked for that. Maybe just keeping the chat window open so you can follow questions. It will be helpful. I can do that as well while I'm scrolling through them. So, okay, I get it. Alex is saying, any updates on regular pop-up videos? I mean, pop-up having, let me just go back on that. Any updates on regular pop-up videos? I mean, pop-up behaving as a regular embed, just clicking play and it plays in a pop-up window. The pop-up now is not very friendly. What's not very friendly about it? To the best of our knowledge, it's pretty friendly and useful. I don't know what the current issues you're having with it are. Maybe if you can elaborate on what's unfriendly about it, Alex, we can provide some recommendations. We haven't gotten any feedback necessarily to the pop-up embed code, but if we're getting more feedback, maybe we would be working more on improving it. Just compare the look of embed and pop-up. Are you talking about the? So here's the thing. So I think I know what you're getting at. Thumbnail. All right. So I understand what you're referring to right now. So if we take a look at the pop-up code, here's the pop-up code for this video. And let's actually embed it somewhere. So I'll grab this pop-up code and I'll open up a testing site over here just so we have a sandbox to play with. And I'll dump that embed code in there. So this is what the default pop-up code is. You have options to configure it here, how it appears, by coming over here and saying, I don't want it to be a link, I want it to be an image, for example. And then you can select which image you want to use instead of that play the video link. So here you can say, instead of that, I want to either upload an image of my own, which gives you great capacities on the customization of that. You can use one of the available generated video images, such as the email preview or the thumbnail. Or alternatively, you can go through your image history and use any of the images which you previously uploaded. So for the pop-up code, if you wanted to use a thumbnail image, you could do that. So let me just grab that embed code and paste it back here. And let's just say run again. So we'll see that now we have the embed, the pop-up code, which triggers on an image. So I guess the general feedback is that you don't have a capacity to have a regular button. Yes, but then I'll have to design a thumbnail with the same play button as other embedded videos. Right, there's certainly room there for improvement where we could generate that button for you. But off the top of my head, if you wanted to replicate sort of the same experience that the player has as when it is just an embed. So here, I'll just come to the embed player and I'll just grab that code. So that's going to give us the button with the player. So here we have that, and all I'll do is I'll just hit print screen and I'll just grab that image, save it, and call this as my pop-up screenshot, and come back to Vue Player, and again change it to the image, and I can just use that image screenshot that was used. But as I mentioned, definitely we have the capacity with us to generate that play button automatically for you, just something that nobody has requested thus far. So good to hear that there's some feedback also with regards to the pop-up player, and that you're interested in that being improved. Thanks for sharing that. We'll definitely consider the ability to simply just put a play button over it, as that should be fairly easy to do. Nabi is saying convert tree Convertry, I think I'm reading that right, have just relaunched with being able to place pixels at certain places along the video, which will feed back where the viewer watched up to, such as 25, 50, or 100%, so they can be retargeted. Is that available in VooPlayer? I think that's been available in VooPlayer since the very beginning of VooPlayer. So I've just give me a second. I need to drink some water. Thank you. So I've just demonstrated at the beginning of the call how that can be done with tags rather than. So here we have the tags. The integration for tags where you can add tags at any point in the video. But aside from tags, you can also configure custom codes. So you can come over here and say, hey, here's my first Facebook pixel or whatever you're using, I don't know, and insert the code for that pixel and say, hey, I want to have it fired at second 10 of this or second 6 of this video. And then I can add another code and I can say this is my second audience pixel, and that's enter the code there and have this fired at, I don't know, this is a very short video, so I don't have a lot of options, but have this fire at second 3. This is a 6-second video. That's why everything is in such a short range. So you can configure custom codes which can be fired at any time in the video, and they can be used later on for retargeting. Hope that answers the question. That's always been available, but I think we go even a step beyond that. With the CRM tags, because with the CRM tags, you are not only targeting people, you are not only tagging people which you want to retarget in messages, but you're also able to track the viewing engagement of your contacts, which are existing contacts in your CRM, which is something that I think I haven't seen other players do to such an extent with so many different integrations. And that's just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to what VooPlayer integrations can do with regards to, you can send funnel answers to your CRM as tags. You can get custom email notifications and Google Analytic events on particular items. You can see whenever somebody clicked over or hovered over an interactive element in the video. It's pretty deep. So if, again, pending particular use cases, if anybody's willing to share them, we can always dive deeper into that. So that's why I'm in particular looking forward to these webinars, is because it gives us an opportunity to really deconstruct some of these things and identify potential improvements within that. So if, as I think Alex has said, anybody wants to share their use case, we'll gladly break it down and see what all we can do to add more value to it. Alex is saying, I hate to mention Wistia here, but they have an inline embed and a pop-over embed. That is the best option, just saying. Also, I requested that a while ago. You noted it. I believe I remember that. I'll make another note of it. Don't believe just because I note something that's automatically going to be built into the VooPlayer. Noting something is just a way to keep track of good ideas for when they come to be realized. All right, cool. At 3 a.m. here in Australia, I really get time to be up for these webinars. No, it's only that you said nobody had requested that. I must have forgotten about it. I mean, nobody frequently talks about pop-ups in that extent, but definitely will heed to that feedback and look up maybe to see the previous reference. I've just made another note. So if the notes keep piling up, we'll finally end up doing something about it. All right, cool. Do we have any other questions? We're not able to do anything about the time, Nabi, unfortunately. I mean, if we move it a bit to be a little bit earlier, then people in the US are going to complain. If we move it to be a little bit later, then people in Europe or Asia are going to complain. So this is, I regret the case for Australia that it's 3 a.m., but I think everybody else is have been able to find a small amount of time that they can dedicate to this. So especially if it's something important discussing. And as mentioned, if you guys have any questions that we're not able to answer here on the webinars, just drop us an email at support@woolplayer.com, either that or contact us via our live chat channel, and we'll gladly discuss what's the most appropriate way to address your issues. Is there a way to take the advantage of my pro lifetime license if I upgrade to enterprise, like stacking or anything? I'm hesitant to get into that. I think that should be discussed over the support channel. Don't necessarily want to discuss people's personal licenses and pricing structures and so on the webinar call. So do contact us on the support channel. Sure, that's fine. No Thrive theme update. Actually, yes, there is a Thrive theme update. Let me read what they told me. So for anybody unfamiliar, Thrive Themes is a WordPress, one of the popular WordPress builders that act as a plugin or a builder, I don't know, and have their own themes. And basically they have a video element which is soon going to be natively supporting Wool Player, which is great because you won't have to deal with the conflicts of embed codes and so on. You can just pop in Wool Player URL, same as you would a YouTube video, and then it's automatically going to work. So let me just find what they sent me, and I can just read it. And if you get anything out of this, I'll be amazed. But here's the feedback. So it's on the roadmap. That's been added for future implementation if the customer base starts using the V1 integration. That's in reference to the API connection where you're able to identify your Wool Player account, and then Thrive Themes will automatically grab all of the list of your videos, which you can choose from Wool Player. And then it says the development team has decided to go down the route of using the iframe embed rather than the API connection at this time. So hopefully that means that you're just going to be able to use the link from Wool Player rather than connect to your own account at this time if the people start using the first integration sufficiently. So that's the update that we got with regards to the date. I'll continue pressing them on that until such time you can continue checking the change log that they have on Thrive Architect and Thrive Apprentice, I believe. All right, cool. We can start wrapping this up since I see there's no further questions at this time. Yes, we do. Hello, William. Just picked up Sync Spider, I believe, Sync Spider as API alternative, and they're adding tons of apps. Can you please have a look at them? Definitely. Let me make a note of that. So I guess that's one of the sort of if this then that types of solutions. Sync Spider. All right. Oh, got some votes for Sync Spider. Hello to Steven as well. Let me just make a note of that, just so I don't forget. Sync Spider. All right. Yeah. I don't. First I hear of it, but I'll definitely look into it to see what the viability of maybe developing an app for them would be, so that if there are better than Zapier. I mean, Zapier, dear God, like lately, I've been so mad at Zapier for their updated structure of pricing on per task basis. We were grandfathered into an old plan which had unlimited tasks, which you can run just a number. It was charged on the number of zaps, and we had stuff that's been syncing like every minute, and then we had to change accounts, and then after that, like the cheapest plan was like $1,000 and some for that amount of per month for that amount of tasks. I've been really disappointed in Zapier how they've been handling this, but I'll definitely take a look at Sync Spider. Might be a great opportunity for us as well to leverage it. So once again, thanks for the recommendation, William, and thanks for confirming that it's something looking into. Stephen, I want to thank everybody also who joined this call and took the time to help us improve WooPlayer, and hopefully we'll see you next week as well. Bye for now.